political storm has erupted in Rajasthan over the fate of the Aravalli Hills. 2 billion-year-old mountain ranges, among the oldest in the world and the state's first line of defense against desertification. The flashpoint is a decision to exclude hills below 100 meters from the legal definition of the Aravalli range, a move the opposition says could strip protection from nearly 90% of the hills and unlock the gates for large-scale mining. Congress party leaders, including former Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Ashok Gehlot, and leader of the opposition, Tikaram, have called it an ecological catastrophe, warning that the Aravallis block the advance of the Thar Desert, recharge groundwater and shield North India from extreme heat and pollution. They argue that weakening this natural barrier risks turning vast parts of Rajasthan into a dust bowl. The BJP, however, maintains that this is a judicial matter, not a political decision, and has hit back at the Congress party, accusing it of hypocrisy and pointing to rampant illegal mining during its own years in power. The controversy has spilled onto the streets now. In Udaipur, lawyers have launched sustained protests demanding protection of the Aravalli Hills. Members of the Bar Association say that the new definition threatens Rajasthan's fragile ecosystem and future water security. Protests have also been held in Jaipur, where the Congress staged a Save Aravalli demonstration accusing the centre of weakening environmental safeguards. Independent leaders and civil society groups have joined the movement, warning that dilution of protection will benefit mining mafias and permanently damage the region. Amidst growing criticism, Union Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav has strongly rejected the allegations. The minister has accused the opposition of spreading misinformation and fear. He says that out of the total 1.44 lakh square kilometer Aravalli region, mining eligibility exists in only 0.919% of the area. According to the minister, the remaining Aravalli region continues to enjoy full legal protection. The government insists that the Aravalli range is safe, preserved, and that no large-scale environmental damage will be allowed.
टोटल अरावली का एरिया 1,47,000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर है। इसके बाद केवल अभी की जो मेरे पास 39 डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, केवल 217 किलोमीटर मतलब 2% में ही माइनिंग हो सकती है, और वो भी हर तरीके से नहीं हो सकती। उसके लिए भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने डायरेक्शन दिया है कि आपने जैसे सारंडा और झारखंड में एक पूरा पहले माइनिंग प्लान बनाया है, वो प्लान तैयार करिए। वो प्लान तैयार करने के बाद भी ICFRE जो इंस्टीट्यूशन है उसकी परमिशन होगी, उसके बाद ही परमिशन मिलेगी। दिल्ली में कोई भी माइनिंग अलाउ ही नहीं है, ना होगी। मैं फिर दोहरा रहा हूं, दिल्ली के अरावली हिल्स में माइंस पूरी तरीके से बैन है। अरावली में लगभग 20 से ज्यादा फॉरेस्ट रिजर्व प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया वो एज इट इज रहेंगे।
हमारे यशस्वी मंत्री, केंद्रीय मंत्री जी भूपेंद्र जी यादव जी ने कहा था कि करीब करीब हमारे राजस्थान में या पंजाब में और गुजरात में 3 जगह तो करीब 98% से अधिक तो हमारी संरक्षित है, आरक्षित है। इसके अलावा 1-2% है। निश्चित रूप से इससे हमारे कोई राजस्थान में इसकी हानि नहीं होगी।
Now let's tell you why the Aravallis are important for North India. The Aravallis are not just another hill range on the map. They are one of the oldest mountain systems on the planet and a lifeline for North India. Stretching across Rajasthan, Haryana and Delhi, these hills act as the region's green lung, absorbing pollution and filtering dust from the air people breathe. They stand as a natural wall against the Thar Desert, blocking scorching desert winds and slowing desertification. The Aravallis play a decisive role in regulating regional climate, preventing soil erosion and recharging groundwater and aquifers that millions depend on. They support rich biodiversity and fragile ecosystems that cannot be replaced once destroyed. For Rajasthan in particular, the Aravallis are critical to water security in an already water-stressed state. Simply put, weaken the Aravallis and North India pays the price in heat, dust, water scarcity, and ecological collapse. This is not just an environmental issue, this is a survival issue. We have Sunil Dahiya, founder and lead analyst, Enviro Catalysts, joining us. Sunil Dahiya, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. Now, we are smack in the middle of pollution season here in the national capital in Delhi, and here we have these threats to the one natural barrier to pollution that we have, that is the Aravallis. The union government, the environment minister has said that only 0.19% of the Aravalli hills are even eligible for mining, so there is absolutely no threat to the hills.
Thanks, Krishna, for having me. The first thing which we have to keep in mind, whenever a definition is changed, the destruction doesn't start at that moment when the definition is changed. The destruction happens much later. This is a precondition for other activities or other players to start thinking about that mining and those mining plans to be made, and those later on destroying Aravalli. So you are very, very right in saying so. If this definition goes ahead and isn't taken back, the lungs which we have in northern India, one of the oldest mountains which we have, and it's not just that these Aravalli, these mountain ranges shields us from the desert, storms, dust, and other things, but they also serve as a groundwater aquifer recharges, and not just for that region, for a large region in northern India. If these goes away, the desertification, which we all for last 5 years have been thinking about creating a better and more greener wall in these Aravallis, will go away, and lot of activities such as mining construction will happen. And why do we need to do this mining? We want to mine this because we want to build more buildings. Now let's be clear that there are other building materials which can be used, which can be built, and we should invest in research and development of those technology, those materials, rather than mining these pristine forests.
Sunil Dahiya, the reason why I was telling you what the union minister said is that, if the only 0.19% of the Aravallis are even eligible for mining, does the definition make that much of a difference?
When we say only less than 1% are eligible for mining, that is right now. That is according to the definition right now. And if this definition change is implemented and goes on ground, this eligibility will increase. The eligibility increases whenever, as I mentioned, the definition change first, then lands become eligible to be mined or not to be mined, and that's when the restriction happened. So it doesn't matter how much of Aravalli is eligible to be mined right now. If the definition change goes ahead, a lot more will be eligible, and most of it will be eligible to be mined, to be destructed. And that's why it is very, very important that this issue is raised to the extent that the definition is taken back.
Okay, so you're saying that this just is the beginning, it opens up things, but tell us, what are the safeguards that we can put in place? Because, how about striking the balance between, tapping into natural resources, but at the same time, protecting the environment?
See, when it comes to Aravalli and this definition, the only safeguard we can take is take back that definition first. The other things which we have to do to reduce air pollution, obviously, we haven't really done great there. We have to, obviously, over last 10 years, we have stagnated the pollution levels. We have not let that increase when the population was increasing, when consumption was increasing, when industrial activity was increasing in the region. But that's not enough. We need to be more aggressive. We need to cut down pollution at source and cut down it so aggressively that there is not just the stagnation of pollution, but the pollution levels are reduced compared to past years. One of the thing which or not of the many things, one of the things which really went contrary to reducing pollution levels is starting a new coal-based power plant just 60-kilometer aerial distance from Delhi. Lot of new industries spurring in Delhi NCR districts, more so in Haryana. Lot of these older vehicles, we still not having a cap or a ban on new vehicles. We talk about China, but we don't implement many of the things. Obviously, not everything can be implemented the way it was implemented in China, but we can learn from them and we can take that guidance. And one of those guidance will be limiting the registration of new vehicles, strengthening public transportation, having state-of-the-art pollution control technology at the industries, not letting new coal-based power plants come in the region, clean whichever exist, and in the long run, move away from them. The construction will be needed. People will be moving to the cities, but rather than scrapping our Aravallis from the face of India, looking for alternative building materials so that there is lesser pollution caused when these buildings are being constructed and lesser when Aravallis stays the way they are. These are the kind of things which have to be done in a longer way. Though a lot of these have been planned and promised in past, but until unless we fix time-bound emission load reduction targets for each sector, each geography, and fix accountability of not just the polluters, but the administration and the regulators regulating those regions, I don't see a change happening. We'll just keep talking about these plans. These plans will be on paper, but the implementation will never happen and will not be able to reduce pollution. So we need a dramatic shift in how we regulate and govern pollution and how do we define accountability and transparency in exits.
Right, Sunil, here, these are the safeguards that are going to be needed. But for now, you have a decision being taken, in that sense. Tell us, what are the ways in which, the definition, even if it needs to change, how can it be, how can you maintain the sanctity of the Aravallis while changing the definition?
The sanctity has to be maintained, going back to the earlier definition of whatever constitutes Aravalli, even the foothills of Aravalli, which doesn't have significant elevation compared to the grounds nearby, but they are the rich forest or the boundary of the forest where the Aravallis start from. All of that goes back to the older definition. The Aravallis stays the way they are. Obviously, that is what we need to do. How will it happen is because it's a Supreme Court decision, it has to be challenged and it has to be reheard by the Supreme Court, a higher bench, and maybe that is the only way left.
Okay.